to throw down. You talked about their mom or their dad, talked about their wife or their kids in a derogatory way. They're coming after you. Not so much with God. And that's to our detriment, not our benefit. So, what's required? To fear the Lord, to respect Him, to show reverence to Him, and regard for His very name. Okay? Thou shalt honor the Lord thy God. Well, there's number one. Let's read on. To walk in all His ways. Now, obviously, if the one word I had for the first one was fear, then this one would be walk. Fear and then walk. Walk in all His ways. Walk in all His ways. What's that mean? I'm sorry? I'm sorry, bud. I still didn't get it. A testimony? Walk in all His ways? I tell you, I picture a highway. I picture a road, a highway. His way. Okay, that's what that word brings to my mind. I envision a road. Now, Jesus talked about a wide road and a narrow road, but when this says to walk in all His ways, I picture a road and it is paved with all of the directives of God. And you're walking that road. You're walking that way. And it is highlighted. It is road signs. It is painted on the pavement. Whatever. All of the ways of God. The way of holiness. The way of love. The way of mercy. The way of grace. All of those things. And you're walking on that King's Highway, on that road, the Lord's way, with all of those directives. All of those ways of God. Keeping them fresh. Keeping them before your vision. Now, I'm taking a long trip tomorrow. I'm going to, where am I going? Bowling Green, Kentucky, in that general area. And I'm going to be looking at road signs. And I'm going to be looking at different things about which way. Get on this interstate. Get off of that interstate. All that stuff. And I picture, maybe it's because it's fresh in my mind in a different realm with a trip tomorrow, but I picture that highway with all of those signs and all the directives of the ways of God. Pay attention to them. I'm going to be glued to those signs tomorrow. Because I don't want to wind up anywhere than in Bowling Green, Kentucky. That's where I want to go. I don't want to wind up anywhere in my life except in the ways of God. In the ways of God. Jeff? Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, that's the place, that's the way to get to our destination. You can turn around and go back. You can jump in the ditch if you want to. You can. But that's not the directive here. He says that this is what God requires of us. We don't have to do it. We can go down any old path, any old road, or any old gully, or any old ditch. We can do that. But there is a way of God. Like I said, in my mind, I see a highway filled with the directives of God, giving information for all that we need in this journey. It is a journey. You know that? We're on a journey as God's children. And heaven is our destination. On that Lord's way, we need to walk in all His ways. We need to travel in the directives of God. Anybody else? So fear and walk. Yes, Ed? Yeah. 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 Stay on the Lord's way. Stay on that way. That's good. Ed's a over-the-road truck driver. So he's out there. He's out there. He's out there running on the road. Literally. But then figuratively, as a man of God, we're on a highway also, aren't we, Ed? But if we are not careful, we will get distracted. And we might find a detour. We might get off on an exit that we didn't want to get off at. Yeah, that's what Ed's alluding to. Be cautious and be careful. Follow the Lord's way. It will be clearly marked for us. Whether we do or not, it's on your shoulders. Anybody else? That's number 2. Walking all this way. And to love Him. Well, sure you love God. To love Him. To love Him. What do you think that means? What kind of love for God? You love your kids, you love your spouse, people love their country, you love your friends. What kind of love for God? Kathy? Say again? Oh, okay. Yeah, they are certainly wisdom, the commandments, all of them, but as she's saying, the first 3, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with. Well, that's in Matthew and in Mark. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind, with all thy strength. So what kind of love? Complete. Now, that's pretty good. Carol? You know, that's not a bad way to look at it, because then it doesn't have to get in from the outside. The inside's already on the outside. And He's already accessed it immediately. Love Him. Love the Lord. To love Him. Anybody else? Ashley? Yeah. So let's go back. If we are walking in the Lord's way, would that show that we love Him? I think you're right. Love is an action. And if we live in His presence and we fear Him and we honor Him, is that love for God? Yeah. Would be, wouldn't it? So those things we've already looked at, if we are complying with those, what He has required of us, that would be love of God. We, in today's society, use the word love very frequently. We love a rainy day. We love a parade. We love pepperoni on our pizza. We love everything. But this is much deeper. This is turning your heart inside out. I like that. This is much deeper. This is not just verbal assent. This is action. To love the Lord. To love Him. Anybody else? Okay. Understanding that He is not to be debated or questioned, or you don't bring up another side of whatever. He is God. And if you're going to love him, then you love him. Whatever he does, whatever he stands for, however he comes about it, you love him. Whether it always makes sense or whether it always complies with what we're thinking or the direction we want to go. Because it doesn't, but we got to still love him, don't we? Well, you didn't do just quite like I thought that was going to go, Lord. How come you let me down? Wait a minute. He didn't let you down. You had your own preconceived idea how it was going to go. He already knew how it was going to go. And his battle is to get you to come to that point, seeing it's the Lord's way. Jeff, did I see your hand? Yeah. Yeah. And you're right, it will suffer. What did I say Sunday? Whatever you feed, it will grow. And that's a good point right there. Whatever you feed, it will grow. And if you don't feed your love for God in whatever way, many ways, it will not grow. Gloria, did I see your hand? A complete and everlasting love. I like the word complete, came up over here. Yeah, complete, ongoing, everlasting, never ending. Those are all good. Yeah. Putting it to work. Your love for God. So we've seen fear, we've seen walk, we've seen love. What's the fourth one? To love him and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul. To serve him. Now we've kind of potholed all around it, haven't we? We've kind of dropped hand grenades in there, and we've kind of been all around it. Now he's saying, put them all together. Put them all together. The fear of the Lord, walking with the Lord, loving the Lord, is going to cause you to serve the Lord. It's a natural progression. You come to that without strain, without being forced. It's the natural thing. It's the next thing as I want to serve him. I have a reverence for him. I walk in his way. I have the acknowledgement that he loves me. I love him. The next natural thing is to serve him. To be on the Lord's team. To be a part of what's going on. Now, that can take different facets and different faces for each of us. He's made each of us just different enough. We have our interests, we have our abilities, our proclivities, we have our talents, we have our efforts. To serve him. Put them in the service for the Lord. Fear him. Walk with him. Love him. Now serve him. Serve him. With all thy heart and with all thy soul. We hear that in Mark and in Luke. To love him with all of our heart, all our soul, all our mind, all our strength. As Jesus said. What's the greatest commandment? The second is like unto it. To love the Lord thy God. Love your neighbor.